Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why you see your future self as so much better than your past self? This new study dives deep into how we think about who we are, who we were, and who we're becoming. Imagine you are at a high school reunion, you look around and see classmates you haven't seen in years. You might think, am I still the same person? Have I grown? We all want to feel like we've stayed consistent and also improved over time. But how do we actually form these ideas about our past, present, and future selves? Scientists have noticed two interesting patterns. First, people tend to believe their future selves will be better than their past selves. They expect growth. Second, people tend to believe they will change less in the future than they have in the past. This is called the end of history effect. It is like saying things might have changed a lot up to now, but from here on out, I am pretty much set. So, how do these two ideas fit together? Researchers have developed a model called the Inductive Reasoning Model, or ERM, to try and explain this. Think of it like this. We all have positive self-images, right? We generally think we're pretty good people. The ERM suggests that when we think about our past or future selves, we start with our present self. We project our current positive feelings and traits onto these other versions of ourselves. But we don't project them equally. We tend to project them more strongly onto our future selves than our past selves. This differential projection is key. The model predicts that if you have a positive view of yourself and you project that view more onto your future self than your past self, then you'll naturally see your future self as more positive than your past self. This is the subjective growth effect, and the end of history effect, that feeling that future change will be less dramatic than past change, also fits into this. The model uses some fancy math to look at how similar people rate their past, present, and future selves on various traits and how desirable those traits are. It is basically a way to quantify these feelings of continuity and growth. This simulation shows us something really interesting. As your self-positivity goes up, the link between expecting less change in the future, end of history effect, and expecting positive change, subjective growth, becomes stronger. It's like if you feel good about yourself now, you're more likely to believe you'll stay good and keep getting better. The RM says that if people are just projecting their positive present selves onto their past and future selves, we can predict how positive those selves will appear. For example, projection alone can explain why our past selves might seem less positive than our present selves. It is that imperfect projection, like a blurry photocopy, that makes the past self look a little dimmer. But here is where it gets really interesting. The model also helps us see when something extra is going on. If our future selves appear even more positive than the projection model predicts, it suggests we're actively boosting our future self, not just passively projecting. This illustration really shows the projection idea. On the left, someone with a positive present self projects that positivity. The graph shows how traits rated high on the positive side for the present self might be rated a bit closer to average for the past self. It is like a regression towards the mean. On the right, someone with a negative present self projects that negativity. And again, the past self's ratings tend to move towards the average. It highlights how projection itself can shape our view of the past without necessarily meaning we're actively demeaning it. To see if this model holds up, the researchers looked at several existing studies and conducted their own. They gathered data from thousands of people who had rated their past, present, and future selves on different personality traits. They also looked at how desirable those traits were. This allowed them to calculate those within subject correlations the ERM talks about. Looking at the results across all these studies, they found some consistent patterns. People do project their present selves onto their past and future selves, meaning the connections are there. But when they looked at the direct effects, they found that the positivity of the past self was mostly explained by this projection. However, the future self was often seen as more positive than the projection model predicted. This suggests that we don't just project, we also actively enhance our future selves. To get a clearer picture, they conducted their own study. A key question was whether the present self is truly the most accessible, acting as that anchor for our past and future selves. They even measured how long it took people to answer questions about their past, present, and future selves. And their original study confirmed this. It took people the least amount of time to rate their present self, a bit longer for their future self, and the longest for their past self. This supports the idea that we construct our past and future selves by leaning on our present self as a starting point. It takes more mental effort to recall or imagine those other selves. So what is the big takeaway? The ERM provides a neat way to understand both subjective growth and the end of history effect. It suggests that the reason our past selves seem less positive than our present selves is largely due to imperfect projection. We're not necessarily actively putting down our past selves, but when it comes to the future, there is more going on. Our future selves are often seen as even better than our current selves would predict through simple projection. This points to a genuine enhancement, a conscious or subconscious belief that we will indeed become better people. This is a crucial point. Unlike some earlier ideas that we might actively denigrate our past selves to feel better about who we are now, this research suggests it is more about the natural process of imperfect projection. Our past self might seem less positive simply because our present self is our anchor, and the projection isn't perfect. On the flip side, for our future selves, there is this extra boost of positivity. The researchers suggest this could be because we have common societal ideas about personal development. We see that people generally tend to develop more desirable traits over time, like becoming more agreeable or conscientious. So, we might reasonably expect ourselves to do the same. It is also important to note that not everyone is the same. There is a lot of individual difference here. Some people might indeed aspire to a better future self, while others focus more on maintaining their current positive self or even expect some decline. This means the IRM can be a great tool to study these individual differences and how they might relate to things like mental health. For example, depressed individuals might see their past and future selves as more positive than their present self. Shaped pattern that this model can help explain through projection or actual enhancement. And, of course, culture plays a role. Previous research has shown that people in different cultures might have different views on personal growth and change. This study mainly looked at Western samples, so it would be fascinating to see how these patterns hold up in other cultural contexts. Overall, this research offers a powerful framework for understanding how we perceive ourselves across time. It elegantly links the concepts of continuity and growth, showing how our positive self-images and how we project them shape our temporal selves. It suggests that while our past selves might be viewed through the lens of imperfect projection, our future selves often receive an added glow of enhancement, perhaps influenced by societal norms of development. The future of this research looks bright, potentially bridging social perception and temporal self-perception even further. What do you think? Does this model resonate with how you think about your own past, present, and future self? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, please give it a like, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more fascinating psychology research, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.